Welcome back to Point of View. For those of you joining us, this is the county edition. We are highlighting all things Nairobi County. With me in studio is NCBDA board member, Mr. Timothy Muriuki. Now, going into our fourth segment, let's talk about the county government and the issues that they've had, and highlighting some of them. The issue of city council workers or county council workers who are ghost workers per se. Give us your comment on that.
Well, the situation was audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers. They got very many people who are not on record. Some people don't have papers. And there are all sorts of shenanigans.
Yeah.
And although we have not, that position has not been re-audited, our take is that the city-county government must use technology to monitor the workers. And everybody reports somewhere. There must be a station, workstation. So when they report that workstation, they must have a way of registration technologically. And when they check out, there must be a way of checking out.
Yeah.
So I think that the use of technology is what will eventually help this issue of ghost workers, because even though you root out many of them and carry out an exercise to root out many of them, and then you do not take steps to ensure that that is not sustained, and they will still come back.
That's very true.
You still have people coming back and finding their way into the system. So the system must be foolproof. And therefore, although people are very resistant to change, that is something that we cannot avoid.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of resistance when we had the biometric registration.
Yeah.
Why do you think this was so?
Well, it's an issue of people not accepting that technology can be used in the human resource management.
Yeah.
And if you have the number of workers that the city county has, then if you're not using a human resource management system, you're going to collapse. Already the wage bill is very high.
Indeed.
So there must be a way of monitoring so that you know you're paying for what you get. Personally, I don't think that the city county gets what they pay for. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. And talking about transport, we mentioned transport in our previous segment, and I think it would be fair for me to, highlight some of the issues that we've been facing in the NCBD. For example, the hiked parking fees. It was initially set out to curb a lot of traffic jam. Has this helped, or what in essence was the use of having the parking fee hiked?
The parking fee was hiked because of congestion, obviously, and of course it was the authorities saw it was quite low. They saw it as a way of decongesting the city so that you don't have to leave your car the whole day.
Yeah.
To improve circulation, I think we're halfway there. For us, the best way, the ideal way was to charge parking on an hour-to-hour basis.
Okay. They
would actually rake in more money. Because then if you're on-street parking, that's a very expensive parking. And there is no reason why you should be there the whole day. You still get people parking the whole day on the streets. And that is not tenable. Again, this is supposed to encourage development of parking silos. Again, it's also supposed to encourage people leaving their cars out of the city center, like the park and ride systems, Yokimau. Now there are very many people using that.
Yeah.
They don't have to bring their vehicles into the city, experience traffic, So, yes, it's a good measure. It's, but I wish that they can take it a little bit another level higher, so that you have many metered parkings, and then you have people being spurred also to develop high-rise parkings, so that if you're not parking on the streets, then you have a cheaper place to go and park to.
That's
parking.
true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
This parking on the streets is meant for strictly short-term parking,
Yeah,
not
not the
long-term.
whole day.
Yeah, not
All
long-term.
right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Maximum number of hours you should be able to park there is 3 hours. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to become absolutely not economical.
All right.
Yeah.
Will this system work with the Nairobi County residents? And I think the question they'd ask is, what other option do we have if we don't bring our cars into the city?
And that's why I mentioned about an improved public transport system. The public transport system must be efficient, must be reliable, it must be safe, it must be clean.
Yeah.
You know, it must really be friendly to any other customer. If I want to come to your offices and there's a public transport system, I don't need to get my car onto the road.
Yeah.
So that is what we must we must focus on, because I don't think we are focused on this. Our public transport system was left a long time ago to private sector, and you know, they ran it the way they think best, without cohesive thinking, without strategic thinking, without forward thinking, and therefore we have left it almost to go to its own, take its own shape. I think the authorities must now get hold of it. Yeah,
that's very true. Now, you talked about Hong Kong, and I'll put into the equation the city of New York. They have a large population, and still things are able to flow. What is Nairobi County, and specifically the CBD, not doing right, or what do we need to do to make things, you know, work cohesively, properly?
I think movement is a very important factor.
Yeah.
Business flows also because of movement. You're able to go and take if you think today you want to go and eat a pizza in town, you just need to hop into a bus. But today, to think about going into town is a long shot, you know, from here, from where we are seated.
Yeah.
So movement is very important. And that means public transport system, our infrastructure, our roads, the flexibility of one being able to walk around, and of course congestion, removal of congestion. That's very important, and just ensuring that we have a system that works. Yeah.
Is the county government well equipped, or what sort of cohesive action do we need from
I think that's an
and
issue. That's an issue that we need to bring together all the actors and get a solution that will work. We can't work with one side working alone.
That's true.
The people who have been in this business, we have always said, must be brought on board. If it is to buy other buses that are 120-seaters, that are programmed to work around a certain program, the city county takes hold of the program. You know, we used to have Kenya Bus Services.
Yes.
And it used to function. So bring them back on the same kind of platform. Let's say they are going to be providers of services. The county is going to have an authority that coordinates these people, that coordinates the transportation, that regulates and talks about how fares are going to be charged, timed, you know, transport system, so that you don't have haphazard movement, and you know, just control it.
And from the NCBDA point of view, maybe what are the suggestions you'd put in towards achieving such a...
Have an authority. The authority is in charge of you as a provider, transport provider. You provide a bus with the requisite number of drivers. Fare collection is automated. It's fairly much card system, cashless. The buses work 24 hours in some routes. You know, you have standards of the bus you provide. You know, it's at 120-seater or whatever. You know, seating arrangements, you know, the way it's supposed to be interiorly done is standardized. You just have some standards. Routes are well organized so that along a certain route, buses don't have to terminate in town. They traverse through town. The town should not be a bus parking like we see today, and several other
That's
measures.
very true. And maybe I'll ask you, in terms of implementation, should we privatize such a project, or should...
Because business of providing buses should be done by businessmen. Business of articulating laws and stating bylaws that are to be followed within the transport system is the work of the county government. If the national government needs to come in, they can come in.
All right.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from the NCBDA in 2015?
Well, for us, we continue giving our input where we think that we should. We continue to interact where we should interact, and ours is to provide solutions. Yeah.
Do we see your proposed CCTV project taking off?
Well, that is already gone. It's already taking off, and thanks to His Excellency. But this one has moved, and we can see implementation is on the ground.
All right.
So we hope to see good results from it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muriuki, for joining us.
Thank you.
I've had Timothy Muriuki, board member of the NCBDA. We have been highlighting Nairobi County issues. This has been Point of View. I'm your host, Linda Kruger. Keep it TVC.